Okay, guys, we can certainly hang out and talk all night long, but you don't need a ticket to do that. That's free. Let's get the show started. Hey? Yeah. We don't want to be here all night long, or do we? No. Come on up here. You're ready to go. Okay, guys, thank you for coming down to SF New Tech. Yay! All right, I'm done. Listen, it ain't easy. Okay, so those who are uninitiated, this is the drill. We spend the first 2 hours getting to know each other over some cold drinks and some yummy food. Raise your hand if you had a taco tonight. Yeah. Good stuff. And then at 7:30 or thereabouts, we do this part, and this is where everybody sits down and shuts up and pays attention. What we do is we send the bartenders who are super cool away, but we send them to the back room. So no fear, you can still get a cocktail. And if you want to grab a cocktail or even have a conversation, I urge you to take it in the side room. If you didn't discover the side room, go explore. It's right through those curtains over there. So yeah, go in there, get your drinks, whatnot, tip your bartenders. Yeah, so how many of you guys were at Dreamforce? Yeah? How many are in town for Dreamforce and just kind of stumbled into this nonsense? Right on. Cool, welcome. All good. Who went to the concert last night? Yeah? Got wet? A little bit? Good stuff. Okay, so I'll make a couple of quick announcements. We'll say hello to our sponsor, and we'll get the show going. The way this works, everybody's going to get 5 minutes for a live presentation. It's that easy. And then we get 5 minutes to grill them, make them sweat. If you have questions, comments, pithy commentary, grab the microphone. I'll be running around, so just raise your hand high. I'll find you. We have a couple of great companies joining us tonight. And that's it. So let me quickly thank LeClaire Ryan, law firm of choice, done, and our friends from Microsoft, Lisa Abdivola, tongue twister, Lisa, I'm sorry, is going to tell us more about what they're doing with SkyDrive. So Lisa, why don't you come up and why don't we get this started? Who here uses SkyDrive? Right on. I would imagine that number will double after triple. What is this? What are you doing? Bringing it up? Yeah, bring it up. Do. And for our next trick, here. Oh, just next year we're going to hit people in the head with, what is it? What are you throwing?
This is business card wallets, and in there is also 10 gigs of free SkyDrive storage for new users. I'm really sorry for anyone that potentially hitting on the head here. There's also some exclusive networking tips that my favorite networking blog put together for us. Sorry, I'm literally blind right here. I can't see where I'm throwing. But there's some more.
You throw like a girl.
That was better.
Yeah, okay. So those who are not injured can now tune in. Yeah, so big thanks to Lisa and her team for supporting SF New Tech throughout the years. Great friends, great products, good stuff. And Microsoft is in it for the long haul. And Lisa's going to get treated just like any other demo, so we're going to put the timer on you. Okay? 5 minutes. Well,
all the setup pains, huh? How are you guys all doing today? Good? Yeah, cool. For those I haven't gotten a chance to meet yet, my name is Lisa Abdivola. I'm really excited to be here. San Francisco is actually my hometown. I'm a product marketing manager for Outlook.com, SkyDrive, and Internet Explorer over in Seattle now for Microsoft. And today I'm really excited to be able to introduce you to some of the cool new features that our SkyDrive team has been working on. Okay, projecting here. Okay, awesome. So here is, for anyone that wants to touch base after this, please feel free to tweet at me at Abdilisa, or use our hashtag #MeetSkyDrive if you have any questions or feedback or suggestions or anything like that for us. But now let me know when my time starts. Cool. Let me see those hands again of SkyDrive users. Nice, okay. All right, awesome. All right, so let's think about for a second how much content we are creating and saving nowadays, and how that amount of content is growing exponentially every day. Then think about the devices that you're using to consume that information, right? And that's also growing exponentially every day. And I'm talking about your MacBook Pros, your iPhones, your tablets, your computers, all of that all across. And it's all a bunch of different ecosystems, right, that consume that information differently. Now here, I don't know about you guys, but I like to definitely have the most up-to-date devices. So I'm also upgrading those really often. Now that becomes a pain point, right, of how do you move the files that you typically save locally to each one of those devices across each one of those ecosystems? And how do you transition when you upgrade? Now, you don't need to worry about those transitions anymore, because with SkyDrive, that's the connective tissue between all of your stuff across all of your devices. And now I'll show you a little bit of that. Here in the modern app right here, this is what it looks like. And when you think about some of the things that we're doing, it's actually, oh, sorry. The demo gods aren't with me. Okay, here it is. All right, got it. Okay, so when you think about what we're doing now, it's actually wildly different. One of those things is that SkyDrive actually works across all of your different ecosystems. It lets you see your files in the same exact way that you would want to see them, your decks, your PowerPoints, your docs, your spreadsheets, not in wonky reformatted versions, but in the ways that you had intended to use them. They're also the way that SkyDrive is approaching the space issues. So as our devices are getting cooler, their hard drives are actually getting much smaller, which is kind of ironic. As the amount of things that we have grows, the hard drives actually get smaller. But what SkyDrive is doing is essentially creating this external cloud drive, right, where you're able to store a bunch of files. In this case, for brand new SkyDrive users, you actually get 7 gigs of free storage. And for the things that I just threw out here, that's 10 gigs. Sorry about that. So to put it in perspective, 7 gigs, that lets you store 7,000 photos or 20,000 documents. But for people like, think about the photographers in the room that have a bunch of high-res photos, or people who have a bunch of videos that takes up a bunch of space, right? That overwhelms your already full device, or your device that doesn't have that much space. But with SkyDrive, it actually creates these types of holograms where you're able to see and view and use your files the same way that you would in the way that you would otherwise. You can rename them, move them around, but it's actually only taking up like 2% of the storage that it's actually using, which is pretty crazy. What else it does is, since it's core to Office, it also does some pretty cool things with Office things like Excel Survey. So has anyone used Google Forms before? example. Yeah, for like surveys and stuff. So what we have within SkyDrive is Excel survey, where you're able to create and collect that type of information, but it'll come out into all of that information will end up being collected in a real Excel document. So for the people, you know, the data geeks in the room that love making pivot charts, you can now do that with Excel surveys in SkyDrive. And not only that, but we also have Office web apps in SkyDrive. So now, for the people in the room who, for some reason or other, don't have Office, you're now actually able to use Office in the browser, and you're able to edit and make changes and do all of those things here and share it across with other people so that you can edit together, so that you can send something that maybe you're not done with yet. You can send them that Excel document or Word document or deck in SkyDrive and make updates, and they'll be able to access the live version. Now, another cool thing that I'll leave you with before I close is the geotagging feature that comes in here in OCR. So OCR technology in SkyDrive, one of the brand new features, lets extract text from those photos and extracts text from those photos and lets you pull up that information in Windows 8 search. It'll also geotag it. So here, for example, this picture is from us here last month. And as you saw in that screen that just popped up, it shows exactly where we are. So let's say you collect the business cards that from the people that you meet here today. You keep them in the SkyDrive wallet we just gave out to you. You save them in your SkyDrive. It doesn't take up space in your files. And then you're able to remember exactly where you met that person when you search for their name in your Windows 8 device. So unlike others, unlike others, SkyDrive isn't just a standalone storage space. It's connected to you wherever you are, across all of your ecosystems, whether that's iOS, Android, or Windows. It travels with you across your laptops, your tablets, your phones, your social networks, your calendars. With SkyDrive, your files are always with you. Thank you.
Excellent. So when you get home, nurse your wound from your wallet injury and sign up. Cool. Lisa, thank you. Good stuff. Okay, so a few other quick announcements that I forgot to make. If you're tweeting tonight, and I hope you are, use the hashtag SFNT, and we'll throw you on the tweet wall, which should pop up if we're lucky. And this is a nice back channel for what's going on here tonight. Also, yeah, no, that's it. I want to give away some stuff off of that later. Maybe we'll get creative. Okay, so next up on the ticket is Mosey and Andrew Deming. Where are you, sir? Come on up. Which one would you rather? Yeah, no, go for it. So we first met Mosey a couple of weeks ago when we did our new tech crawl throughout the city, and they dropped us a line saying, "We've got the perfect product for you." And I said, "Really?" And they actually did. It really helped us put what we were doing in a nice, wonderful format for our participants to interact with and to make their way throughout the city. So we were thrilled, and now we're going to see firsthand what they're doing, especially with your new mobile stuff. So you are the Apple TV. Yeah. And whenever you're ready, I'll start the clock.
Hi there, thanks so much for having me tonight. My name is Andrew Deming, and I'm a co-founder of Mosey, where I lead the product team. Mosey is a platform of custom curated adventures. We like to call them micro guides. So with Mosey, rather than just being able to share, let's say, a place or a restaurant with a friend, you're able to share an entire evening or an afternoon. I've actually had a Mosey of sorts making my way here to Mighty tonight, so I'd like to share that with you. As I was leaving the office today and I made my way to Potrero, I started off and went to the Heath Ceramics factory and store here, and I took a photo of Heath. I then made my way to the Design Within Reach showroom for a little bit more design inspiration on Alameda Street. And then made my way here with all of you at Mighty. I like to capture picture that, yeah. Perfect. And so Mosey pulls the information, tells me, right here at Mighty, it's the first suggestion. And then I think after the event tonight, I'd like to go to Slow Club to grab a drink and dinner. So we've actually just made a Mosey by sort of capturing the afternoon that I've been having here. If it was a normal night and this event wasn't happening and I was sharing this with a friend, I imagine they'd probably want to grab dinner before going to Mighty. So I'm going to change the orientation there. So I'd like to show you what a Mosey actually looks like. When we go into a Mosey, you're able to see all of the places in this micro guide in order that they're intended to be experienced. Users are also able to like the Mosey, and they're able to save it to their account so that they can have easy access to it. It can go from place to place through the Mosey, from Heath to Blue Bottle Coffee, to Design Within Reach, to Slow Club. And within each of these places, we've pulled not only user images, but we're also tying in Google and Foursquare data so that users are able to see a really rich picture into what places are like within these guides, but they're also able to find things like open hours, Twitter handle, website, phone number of each of these locations, so that they're able to relive the experiences that you have with ease. And then we end up Mighty. One thing that brings a Mosey experience completely together is that we have a map that gives sort of a bird's eye view of the Mosey. So I'm able to see each spot here. I'm able to use the native Apple Maps to be able to easily get there, as well as Google Maps. So that's sort of Mosey in a nutshell. In the app, there's an activity sort of timeline where everyone's Moseys are available to view for the people who are following them. And so you can see Moseys created by your friends, as well as influencers that you follow in the system. There's also the ability to explore Moseys for literally any city in the world. We have launched our web application. We launched it in the summertime. And the iPhone app that I'm showing you now has been in the App Store for approximately 2 weeks. To date, we have about a few thousand Moseys in over 50 countries and more than 500 cities around the world. So I would encourage each of you to download the Mosey app. If you don't have an iPhone, feel free to visit us. We have a web app, and we also have a responsive mobile website at mosey.com. And please share with us your perfect day in any city that you know and love. We'd love to see it. And definitely share it with us at our Twitter handle, which is @WeMosey. I'll share that with you here. So that's Mosey in a nutshell, and I would love to hear any questions that you might have.
Okay, so guys, you want to raise your hands up high and I'll find you. How does that sound?
How do you make money?
That's a great question. Long term, we're creating a social feed, and so we're looking at native advertising. We're creating an environment where people are sharing places. It's city-based, so I think it's pretty easy to see how this would be a great environment for advertising. In the short term, we're looking at doing deals, embedding deals into locations. So when I shared, if Blue Bottle as a location at Heath, if they have a deal, having it embedded right into the Mosey so that it's not corrupting sort of the quality of these user-generated suggestions, it's only an added layer. That's something we're looking at in the short term.
Hi. Hi, so can you fork Moseys? And second question is when you search for Moseys, can you look at related Moseys so they have like similar locations shared between them?
Yeah, those are great questions. Forking Moseys, I assume what you're talking about there is sort of like a remix or being able to take a Mosey and use that as a waypoint. That is absolutely in our next version. It's something that we hear all the time from users, and it's a absolutely great feature that's going to be coming. Your second question was being able to use a Mosey to find other Moseys. From both Moseys and places, you can see related suggestions, both based on the author of the Mosey, but you're also able to see other similar results. So yes.
You said before about you can follow people, but do you have to be friends with them first, or can you just follow them? Because I know, like in Foursquare, you have to be both have to be friends with them.
We have an asynchronous following scenario here, so you can follow any user within the system. To begin with, you follow like the Mosey users. We also have a number of influencers within the system that we provide as suggested users, similar to the way that like Instagram or a number of other platforms have done that. But then, yeah, you can go in and search for, you can sign in with Facebook and find, other connections of yours within the environment.
Andrew, what's your distribution strategy? Is it just viral, or are you relying on retailers maybe to spread the word that they can be Mosified?
Yeah, we've been, it's a great question too. We've sort of approached this from two different angles. We're looking at ways of making the app very viral and incentivizing, sort of rewarding users for content creation and encouraging them to share out as much as possible. At the same time, when we launched 2 weeks ago, we've sort of leveraged our team's backgrounds as, in branding and consultancies. We've partnered with Kate Spade New York and a number of other Fathom guides in sort of content partnerships so that we have access to not only their content, but their amazing customer base.
Anybody else have a question? You sure? Nobody?
It's too easy.
Too easy.
Okay.
Can you expand a little bit more upon what is going to motivate the user to create Moseys?
To create Moseys?
Is there any financial reward?
Right now, there is no financial reward, but we view ourselves as a platform that could house a number of these sort of situations where you see people creating guides and then selling those guides in the future. So I think that's absolutely something that we have our sights set on. Right now, we have a number of super users, even as early as we are in building Mosey, where we see that we're creating a platform where this is giving an insight into their perspective and actually allowing people to share their global knowledge. And I think there's something really enticing there, because I think there are very few environments where you can say, these are the cities that I know, this is sort of my perspective. Absolutely, yeah, and that journaling aspect is significant as well. Anything else?
That's it. That's Mosey.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Right on. Yeah, like I was saying, for our crawl, it really worked out well because we had all of these stops throughout the city, and we were able to not only put them in a chronological order of how we were going, but had the addresses and the maps and the comments and the photos and everything. So it worked out really well. So thank you, Mosey. Good stuff. One thing I failed to mention is you guys who had registered online with us should have received an email within the last half hour or so. Unexpected, but guess what? You just got $1 million in your inbox. Did you get that email? And it's not from Nigeria. No, I swear. I swear. Manuel is sitting up here engineering our alpha product that we're calling SFNT Invest. And this is a way that we're putting together a way to give power to you guys to rate the companies you see on stage by essentially voting with your wallets with the $1 million that you received for walking in the room tonight. So check your email. I want to see a hand up that somebody received this. Okay, you guys got it. Okay, good. So click in. That's easy to do. If you did not receive the email or if you didn't register beforehand, quite simply go to sfntinvest.com, and you can log in that way. And the format and the user experience is really simple. It's, you'll see every company with a little slider underneath, and you have $1 million. You spend it how you wish, pretending you're investing, like who deserves the most money. And at the end of the night, we'll show a graph on who took home bank tonight. And maybe we'll get to the point where that turns into real dollars. But that's not too far off with crowdfunding. That's how this is actually inspired. A friend of mine's like, a couple of years ago, he's like, the one thing you need, it's like, when I'm sitting in that room and I see a demo that I really love, it's like, I want to be able to send that guy money, like, from my phone. Like, good idea. So we're working on it. Okay, next up is Polcast, and Hong is the CEO, and we're going to switch over. Let's get off the Apple TV here. Yep. And there it is. So Hong is going to tell us about another storage solution. And whenever you're ready, sir, we'll start the clock.
All right. See it? All right.
And time's up.
Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I'm on the mirror mode. For some reason, I think it's just a high resolution. We're coming.
As I say at every event, whoever invents the projector that works wins. There it is. I don't think that's an ad for Microsoft.
All right, I think we're gonna wing without it. All right. Can't
There it
see
is.
All right, I'm just gonna get started.
Ready?
All right, thank you. So Podcast is a mobile content management company. So basically, it's ability. So we all own one of these mobile devices, and iPad and Android and laptop, and we should be able to get access to all of our content no matter where you will go. So currently, a lot of us basically use this solution today. It's supposed to be nice, so I cannot use. So basically, today, pretty much like you put all your content into the cloud, and then you get access to all from multiple devices you have. So basically, a lot of solutions today provide to you, like for SkyDrive, early example, you store the content, you get access from all your mobile devices, great. But what happened to the rest of your devices across, at home, at work, and on your server? You want to get access to all those content as well. So therefore, we want to see a lot of room for improvement on this system. So basically, what Podcast allowed you to do, basically, we build a private cloud network, encompass the cloud, and cover all the personal devices you have, your computer, your server. So when you run Podcast onto those systems, we index everything, so allow you to be able to get access to all those content across all the devices that you have. So basically, you have all the system, you have all those content and run across all the devices. And then from any device you have, you'll be able not only to get access to content, but across all the content, across all your server, all your computer, across all your storage devices. So let me walk you through a quick demo. So I'm gonna run a Windows Server emulator, right? So you install Podcast, so take you only a couple minutes, and you run to admins, and you add whatever to folder on your server, the video, and then from then on, you just add whoever the user you want to get access to the system, right? And for this case, I add just Hong at podcast.com onto it and give him a manager permission. I add it, right? And now Hong, I can see he have multiple devices. He have iPad, he have iPhone, he have a Nexus, and he have also the computer. For the purpose of this, I see this, I authorize Hong to be able to get access all the content in this server from his iPad simulator. So now I'm gonna switch to an iPad simulator. And you see, I just approve, get myself. And now you can see from this single console, I'm able to see my desktop Sony back to my office, my server with all my content there. Right now I discover where all my devices at and the folder that people share with me as well. So from single console, I'm able to see all my content on that server, right? So right now it's organized directly, it's established, it's almost your own personal private cloud. So now you can see all the folder there, even with the video folder, I just grab it over. You see how fast the content just coming over. So this is private cloud, streamed directly from your server, right? So if I want to watch a video, it's gonna be like this, and this about 20 megabytes. You see how fast. Because the tech advantage of a local network that we have here, and now you connect directly, right? And not only that, you see that, but you see all the recent document. We organize the content type for you as well, and we also organize a picture and also give you a better view and experience. So you see all this content as it's coming over on the demand directly from the computer. You see that how they're coming over and give you a fantastic experience that you cannot have in any cloud system because you don't have to upload anywhere to download before you can get access to it. You get access to it directly, right? And from here, I can be able to, you grab any document that you have, and you check your budget, your balance sheet. You can download all of them on demand, okay? So basically, you get access, like if you have terabyte of content on your server, you'll be able to get access to terabyte of content across. And this is also is my computer back in my office. I have about a terabyte of content there. I'd be able to get access to a terabyte of the content no matter where I am, right? And also, in case you lose a computer somewhere and you say, Hong lost his iPad, you just block him and the content automatically swipe, and then you can come back to your computer here, your iPad, and that content just wipe off from your computer, just that particular server at work, right?
Excellent. Thank you, Han. Do you consider Bitcasa a competitor to what you're doing?
Just a little bit, because Bitcasa still store the content onto the cloud, right? They stream some of those content up there. So basically, we turn whatever the computer and storage devices you have, because all the talk about the cloud, but majority of the time, the content is still sit on your computer, on the network at home. So for our thing, we just install into it and turn into your own personal cloud, and then you get access to those content directly without ever need to put it up into the cloud.
Questions, folks?
So you've got a good corporate solution there, something particularly small and medium businesses have been screaming out for. How do you set end-to-end encryption? Is that something you have or something you're looking at?
So you mean the encryption?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically all the content will be encrypted when you transfer over the wire. And then when you store in a local storage, we have an option you can encrypt into the local storage as well. But the reason that we don't look into a lot of encryption because all this content basically transfer between the device and the server you own. So those are under your completely control, right? At no point podcast ever see any of your content. We pretty much like the Skype of your digital content. Once we made a connection directly between your devices, we authenticate from devices, you and the app level and the content level. Once the connection established, everything is only you and your devices can see those content.
Hi. I was wondering how the data is physically stored. So as far as I've understood, everything is stored on one server and you kind of remotely use it or access it as you use it. So first of all, what happens if I, for example, take a photo with my iPhone? Is it automatically transferred to the server and then deleted locally? And second, I'm actually, I've had to look at many like private cloud like personal cloud solutions, and I couldn't find anyone that has some caching. Like you can choose some files or some folders I store locally, and I can use them offline, or I can use them without the delay that I would have through a network. Is that something you consider?
Oh, that's something that we already have. For example, you have these documents, whatever the content you have. For example, on the local network, you can say cache this whole folder, right? And that whole folder will cache it, and when you go on the road, and that's a lot of business and users are using us for that instant, right? So they can cache all the content while in the local network environment, it's going to trend over gigabits per second versus the internet speed. And while on the road, if that content changes, automatically we reconsolidate and update the content, right? So that's what we do, and so to make things really fast and really simple and convenient.
Anybody? Anybody? Hong, yeah.
The privacy policies, all the data that we never seen it, so it's completely yours. So basically, we don't keep any of your information. We only keep your email address, right, and the hash of your password. And each time when you log and you see how I authenticate my devices, we make a token of that device, so we don't even keep the device. So therefore, that we don't keep anything, so we have no information about you or your devices. We should do enough to keep authenticate and connect you and create an encrypted channel, and we back off. So therefore, we never see any of your content. So if people even, I found good technology to computer, I make an assumption anything you build that can be hacked, right? So even if people can hack into our data center, the most they can get is your email address and they spam you, and that's pretty much it.
Is there a hand in the back? Yep.
So it looks like you're going for a consumer play. Do you have anything in the roadmap for an enterprise play as well?
Well, we start out with the consumer, and actually we got fantastic. But what we found out is majority of our customers are used in business, in healthcare, in financial, in accounting, where they have a lot of digital content and proprietary and confidentiality is super critical to them, and they're constantly mobile, and they have a lot of content. So we see a lot of businesses segments are using our technologies. So therefore, we, tonight, the version I just demoed to you, that is the version, enterprise version for business. So they can install podcasts on their server and turn their server into a cloud, and they have to completely control and authenticate it and completely audit trail of every single information that coming out of their server. And those information, those logs, is never known by podcast. It's completely under your control.
It looks, one more, go ahead.
That's a good question. We get asked that all the time. But the thing is, we basically become a transport engine of the content. So I think all the DRM and all those things is being managed by an application above us. For example, people use us to transport a lot of content they purchase from iTunes, and when they launch it, if iTunes say that they can play in the device, and they can play in that devices. So we remove ourselves from that layer.
Do you plan on having an installation for network attached storages like QNAP, Netgear?
Oh, good that you asked. We currently support Netgear. We support Zycel. Synology gonna launch with us, and pretty much all the major player on the high end, the business segment of their NAS storage, they're gonna convert to our platform. What I didn't show you here, also your ability to collaborate and share the folder with all the other, and you still have all the control over what they can see. So if you work with someone, you share a folder with a bunch of people in the project, and when you're done, you can remove the permission, and we try our best effort to swipe the information from their devices.
I think we're officially out of time. So Polcast. Hung, great job.
Thank you. It is free for the individual, so feel free to download and give it a try, and love to get your feedback. Thank you.
Good stuff. Okay, so while Torsten plugs in, let me say quickly, we are streaming the event live tonight, if you didn't notice. So it's a global affair, and that's largely thanks to Jimmy G, who is the executive producer, owner, CEO of Q There Media, which is a premier media solution here in town. If you're looking to do not only stuff like live streaming or video productions, Jimmy has his own top of the state-of-the-art, top-notch studio, like a block and a half from Moscone, where he could throw a green screen behind you and put you in Paris, and you'd never know the difference. It's Q, the letter Q, THERE.com. Jimmy G will take your emails and phone calls. Look him up, and he'll set you up. Somebody tweet that. Q There Media. Good stuff. Okay, so Torsten is also doing some good stuff, and he's doing it out of Runway, so you must be incredibly inspired among all those guys over there. And we're psyched to show you Tame. Ready to roll?
All right, thanks a lot. Can you bring me on the screen? Not seeing anything there yet. It's on B.
This is all strategy to make you sweat, Torsten.
That's all right. Now I'm on B, yeah. Perfect. All right, cool. So, fresh start. My name is Torsten, and I'm from a company called Tame. That's www.tame.it, and no, we're not from Italy. We are actually from Germany. Part of an accelerator program that sent us over to San Francisco to see how you guys in the US like our product. That's what brought me here. I'm not alone. My CTO and co-founder Arno is also here, so for all the technical questions later, I'm just gonna bring him up if you guys want to know something about it. So a little bit about the background. Tame is our solution to tame the information overload on the social web. And we're actually a bunch or a mix of developers and journalists and PR people. And we've been working a lot with Twitter for our work. But yeah, we found it great as a resource, but we also found it incredibly noisy. So the mission really is to extract the relevant stuff out of Twitter and maybe also potentially other networks. So our first attempt to do that is Tame It, and it's been live since August. And yeah, I'm happy to demo that for you now. So you go to the website, tame.it, and you sign up with your Twitter credentials. And the first thing Tame is going to do for you is going to crunch down everything that comes into your Twitter timeline. So in my case, I do follow about 1,000, 1,200 people on Twitter. So that would revolve into kind of 4,000, 5,000, sometimes less tweets for me in 24 hours. So in order for me to find out what is relevant, what I really should know about it, I can go into Tame and I get this overview here of the top 10 links, top 10 topics, and top 10 people. So for the links, I know that a lot of people from my network have shared this link here. It's from The Guardian. I get a small teaser and a small excerpt, and I can see the tweets related to it. As a second column, we have the topics as defined by hashtags. So in this case, a lot of people talk about Twitter at the moment. I get a small definition of the hashtag, and I know why people are talking about Twitter. It's actually a bunch of Germans that are talking about it right now. And in the third column is the people. So these are people that other users are mentioning. So this is not the people that talk the most, but other people talk about them. So I can see who it is, and I can decide to follow or add them to a list, or I can also retweet or favorite or reply to the tweets. So I can do that for the last 24 hours. I can also switch and do that, for example, for 2 days or up to 7 days back in the past. That's as much as Twitter allows us to. So that's the first dimension of Tame. So crunch down whatever is happening in your own network. So you don't need to worry that much who you follow on Twitter, because Tame is going to get you all the relevant stuff at a glance. Then there's a second dimension. This is Twitter lists. So you can also analyze Twitter lists with Tame. For example, there's this a list curated by a tech journalist, and it's about media people. So I can see what's interesting for the media people at a glance, what's trending among these people. You can also do this with customers, target customers, influencers, so you know what these people are talking about and how you might want to target them, how you want to get into the conversation. And then the third dimension is a global search on Twitter, but in a tamed version. So if you're looking for SF New Tech, for example, so let's see how much you guys have been tweeting tonight. So if you don't know a hashtag, for example, you immediately know that SFNT is probably the hashtag to go with, because most people use it. You get a nice little definition. And then you can decide just to search for the hashtag, so that probably brings you better results. So guys, you need to tweet more. Just a little. So if I go for another event that is in town, for example, that'll probably bring up a few more tweets, no pun intended. That's going to be Dreamforce. So in this case, we have analyzed 10,000 tweets from the last 21 hours, and we know this is probably the hashtag to go if you want to follow this conference. So let's search for this hashtag specifically. And we get sort of 26,000 tweets in the last 24 hours. So this is at a glance the most relevant stuff that you need to know, which is coming out of Twitter. So you can immediately identify what's happened, which are the most relevant tweets, what have people been talking about in relation to this conference. So there are a couple of more features out there. I can't demo all of it. You can actually share reports as well, either with a tweet, or you can also just take this link and paste it into your browser. It's going to bring up a report that's for everybody to see, so you don't need to be on Tame to see it. You can use our tweet editor to write tweets and find relevant hashtags for your tweet. And you can also switch between multiple accounts if you want to. So yeah, this is about it. Tame is a freemium play, so you have a free version. You can analyze your timeline for free, But if you want to use all of our features, it's a subscription, and that starts at $6 a month. And we do have a couple of thousand journalists, mainly journalists, that are making use of our tool already. So thanks for your attention, and I'm happy to answer some questions that you hopefully have.
All right, hands up for Torsten.
Do you offer any additional analytics on the back end?
What are you looking after? Any specific idea?
You know, anything from keywords to user frequency to reach to anything else?
So there are actually a couple of analytics included already, because we have our algorithm that is ranking the content on Tame, as you can see it, is already analytics in a way. It tells you like what people are most interested in and what users are most relevant for you, and it gives you cannot see this now, I think. Maybe you can see it. The small numbers in brackets is also an indicator. It's a score, like how much this content is actually being talked about. So this is a bit of an analytics. We have done other projects together with German media where we've done other visualizations based on Tame. Just come up to me after the show, and I can show that to you if you like.
Anybody? For Torsten? Torsten, why not stay in Germany? Why come here to do this? That's a softball question.
Well, Twitter has definitely some good traction in Germany, but this is the home country of Twitter, and we have definitely the most users here. So for us, it's definitely a threshold to see if the US users are liking our product. So we had a lot of traction. We have a lot of traction in Europe, and we're gaining traction here over in the US, but this is definitely the best test that we can have.
Can you tweet from within your application?
Yeah, you can write tweets just normally. You can also reply, retweet, fave. It's all possible from the interface. Yeah.
You're relying on Twitter's API. Isn't that a little bit dangerous? What are your relations with Twitter?
Yes, we do rely for the moment on their API. They have changed it a couple of times in the past, but we have adapted to the changes. And we're definitely reaching out to them to see if they like what we're doing and if they're not gonna cut us off. But I don't think they do that. They're actually quite friendly with third-party apps.
Are you also looking for funding while here?
When is a startup not looking for funding, right? But we have gotten some seed funding in Germany, so the next step for us would actually be implementing other real-time networks, not only Twitter, but maybe Facebook, also Tumblr or Pinterest, all these real-time information streams, and in order to do that, yeah, there would be some funding needed, so definitely. Yeah.
Okay, minute 20.
Are you familiar with Topsy? And if so, do you view them as a competitor?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Topsy is in our space. They're doing a great job. But we do offer you the possibility to analyze your personal network and list and see what these groups are talking about in order to engage with them. And this is nothing they're offering.
Can you just go over real quick your pricing model again?
Okay, like I said, it's a freemium play. So your timeline analysis is for free, and also for lists and global searches, you would be able to see the hashtags and the tweets grouped in the context of hashtags. But if you want to see all the columns, you would have to pay $6 a month, and you can cancel that at any time. But I mean, we have thousands of users that are using our free version, and it's a lot of benefit already if you can tame your own personal network on Twitter.
So you don't have like a corporate membership then?
We're building this. to go reach out to corporations that can have multiple users in one contract. But so far we've been going more bottom up. So we've been targeting individual journalists, PRs, and marketers. And we've had great traction among those. And now the next step would be also to go after bigger corporations. So anybody that is in marketing, social media marketing, working in a bigger company is definitely an interesting contact for us.
Yeah, I'd imagine you want more than $6 a month from those guys.
In this case, yes. I mean, for what you can do now with Tame, that's not going to be priced differently. But we do have a couple of good feature ideas. We can also track things longer than 7 days. So these are features where we do apply a different business model. Yeah.
We're out of time. Tame.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so we're moving at rapid pace here. After the demos, we're going to do our 60-second spots. That's your opportunity. It's like open mic for geeks. It's your opportunity to come up and make a quick announcement. And then we're going to do our SFNC Invest. But I want to throw this into the mix. Because we're moving so fast and because there's a lot of innovation in the room, let me throw this out there. If there's somebody out there right now who has the cojones to come up on stage to do an ambush demo of what they're working on, meet me in the corner in the next couple of minutes, and maybe you'll find yourself on stage. You know, maybe you wanted to be here, you never got around to applying to do it, right? Maybe you're in town, you're working on something cool. Hey, look, there's a spotlight. Okay, I'll put that out there for you, okay? All right, so next up, where's Jonathon Kresner? Jonathon, come on up, my friend. Jonathon, AKA the Hackerpreneur. But do not spell it wrong, or else he won't get your tweets. And the way the 60-second spots will work, if we get 5 or more people up on stage, what we do is we have everybody kind of enter into my laptop what they had just said on stage. If we get 5 or more, we'll publish it online so it can go a little bit further than these 4 walls. It's kind of cool. And Jonathan, just let me know when you're ready.
All right. Cool. So I actually wrote a blog post about the talk I'm giving tonight. You can look at it later. I got a link through my Twitter account, but yeah, whenever we're ready. So this is my dad, and he's kind of an old school, wise, successful kind of guy. And he has this mantra that he keeps reminding me of. And it's sort of, in my opinion, a bit of a lost art form here in the Bay Area. The mantra goes a little bit like this. Jonathon, happiness is a positive cash flow. So, for whatever reason, during the first 9 years of my startup career, the message didn't quite sink in. I built products that nobody used, and then I built products that got so much traction, they grew into global communities where people met and even got married. But no matter how popular or how useful these products were, I learned this very painful lesson that they're unsustainable because they didn't have a positive cash flow. So I suppose I didn't introduce the title of my talk, which is how we bootstrapped AirPair to run profitability. The first lesson to building a successful bootstrapped company is knowing and proving that you can make money from the beginning. So when I started AirPair, I had so many years of this painful experience, I knew that I had to build in a business model from day one. So, what's AirPair? All right, let's pull up, let's see. This is one view of AirPair. This is our Google Plus page. Let me make it look good. Yeah, that'll do. All right, and here you can see basically hundreds of entrepreneurs all around the world connecting with expert code mentors for help staying unstuck with coding problems, learning new technology frameworks, and basically getting expert guidance with making sound technical decisions. But AirPair didn't look this sexy on day one. In fact, on day one, there was no website. There wasn't even a landing page. but my gut told me that people were going to pay to connect for 1 to 2 hours of software help over video. So I set out to prove my theory. And the first thing I did was I attended a whole bunch of meetups, and I started handing out business cards as if AirPair had fully existed, just to gauge people's responses. And it was at a meetup in January, a MongoDB meetup, where I found my first paying customer who needed some help with a real-time JavaScript communication technology called Socket.io. The first MVP of AirPair was made up of this sticky tape solution of email, Google Calendar, Google Hangouts, and PayPal. So I got the customer's problem by email. I then did some research on the internet to find some Socket.io experts via their blog. I basically cold emailed them and asked them if they were interested. I used email back and forth to negotiate a time that they could both meet, invited them to a Google Hangout, and collected the money through PayPal and paid out through PayPal. So yeah, I don't have time to play the first session, but it's pretty fun, and if you watch it later, it looks like I really needed a shave. But the second lesson in bootstrapping your startup is always do something manually before building an efficient software solution. Because it doesn't matter how awesome your solution is, if what you're building doesn't sell, your ROI is still going to be 0. And yeah, so moving on. So I proved that someone would pay for it, but now I wanted to scale out a bit. And being tech entrepreneurs as we are, there's kind of this Silicon Valley thing where we got to start coding. And my lesson for bootstrapping a startup, and this is probably different for a VC-backed startup, is you want to avoid coding 24/7. Because if you're bootstrapping, you basically need to generate leads and be closing customers. And every minute that you're coding, you're not out hustling. So armed with my initial success of that original session, and still working a full-time day job, I came up with the next iteration of my MVP, which you can see here is basically a static HTML web page with these 2 buttons, find an expert and be an expert, which linked to this Google form and this TechCrunch piece that was published in March. So this piece actually ended up giving us 70 inquiries through the customer inquiries, about 120 experts who signed up to help out, and I actually ended up processing 15 customers before deciding to write a single line of code. So lesson number 3, stay lean and avoid code. Okay, so startup lesson number 4 is maybe to be continued for another talk. But just a bit of a quick summary with where we're at with AirPair. We launched in March, and there are some amazing stories since this iteration, which was in April. We're now 4. We've been growing 40% month on month for 5 months now, and last week we got into YC. So yeah, that's bootstrapping AirPair. I hope you enjoyed the talk.
Thank you. Do you like to put egg in your ramen, or?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, I'm floating back here with a microphone. Anybody for Jonathon? Come on, people, wake up.
So, whoa, sorry about that. That was crap. So, how do you? Obviously, there's a lot of competition for developer resources. How do you win?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
There's a lot of competition for developer resources. How do you win?
I see. So our marketplace is actually made up 90% predominantly of already employed developers. So the idea of AirPair is it's like pay-as-you-go consulting help. And because it's all remote, obviously, there's no travel cost involved for the developer. So most of our developers are moonlighting. They're working between 1 and 10 hours after hours. And they're kind of like the creme de la creme because they're already paid to work in the technology that they're interested in. They already have all the expertise, and they can just make a little bit of extra cash after hours doing what they do all week.
So from your initial experience, you just said you got like 70 customer requests and 120 developers. Did they fit to each other, or is it just too heterogeneous in order to fit it?
So, yeah, it was quite bad timing, because when that TechCrunch piece got posted, I was actually on a hackathon called the Startup Bus, which is like 10 buses leaving 10 cities around the country, all going towards South by Southwest, competing in this 3-day competition. So it actually took me about 4 or 5 days to get back to people. And in the end, from those 70 inquiries, only 15 of them converted to paying customers, which was a good lesson that in our business, you have to get back to people straight away. So yeah, only 15 were matched with 15 experts.
How are you paying the developers?
How are we paying them?
Yeah, through W2.
I mean, at the moment, everything is done through PayPal. We do a little bit of Stripe because PayPal also brings us a bit of pain. And we've had a surprisingly large amount of requests for Bitcoin. So I think we're going to be implementing that pretty quickly.
All right. If we don't have another question, we'll move on.
Cool, awesome. If any of you want to try the service, if you put in like the code SFNewTech when you request for help, we'll give you a $10 per hour discount.
Very nice. Cool. Thank you, Jonathan.
Nice work.
Okay, so Manuel is plugging in the results currently as investments go. Oh, we need to pull your window down just a little bit. We don't know what's going on there. One day this will be real money. That's the goal. Any takers for the ambush demo? Anybody? Anybody? Nobody? Opportunity of a lifetime, I swear to God. You want to hit it? Yeah? Come on up. I love that. Computer you can use. I'm sure we can figure that out. Okay, who are you, sir?
I'm Adric McElroy. Hi, I'm working on Resolve with my co-founder, Chris Katoya. He's in the audience. Met some of you here today, and I have a really, really raw prototype to show you.
Very cool. Resolve. Tell us more about Resolve while you're at it, too.
Well, the prototype is for Resolve.
Okay.
Let me see. That's us. So there's a little bit of story, which is when we set out to start a company, we decided to ourselves, well, we're not going to be formal, it's just a startup, but we should have a formal Friday. And the formal Friday is we dress up and we take these, let's say, ridiculous pictures, and they all have a company sentiment that goes with them. So this is us enjoying a power lunch. And this is the kind of sentiment we carry through with our product. And the goal is we don't want a formal top-down decision-making process. If you have a product team and a product manager, that team needs to be a part of that decision-making process. And so our software, Resolve, is about having a group of people, let's say it's the 100 people in this room, really make a decision in something. There are too many people here for me to ask you in a town hall setting where are we going to go for the bar after lunch. You know, we're going to go to the slow club. Where are we going to go? So let me quickly show you the prototype we have running at our alma mater. We just graduated from Brown. And it is running issues that are pressing on campus. Now, the columns you see here are the premise of the way Resolve works. The leftmost is an issue, so this says there's student resonance fragmentation. And then the column after that are responses to this issue, which we've called proposals. So if somebody has proposed, well, open the doors for more access for the students to dorms they aren't necessarily members of, and that'll breed better interaction amongst the community. And then the next column over, and every column after that, is back and forth debate of agreement and disagreement. This blue one is an agree, this orange one is a disagree, and this forms a whole tree of the conversation so that you can then decide, oh, this proposal has the most agreement behind it. Maybe as an administrator, that's the one I should pay the most heed to, and I can then go and look at the tree that's there and see why everyone is making that rationale. So Resolve is about resolving a whole group of people from a bottom up to make a decision on how to deal with the issues that are pressing to their community.
Right on. Very cool. So I could see the application. Talk maybe a little bit how you envision making money off of something like that. It would be something sold to universities, let's say, and then they would distribute it?
Sure. So we would want a customer that is, somewhat institutional. So a university would buy from us an instance for their 5,000 undergrads, or an enterprise solution where you subscribe and then you have your product teams and other things like that using Resolve. The other avenue we're pursuing in terms of revenue is this gives you perfectly targeted opinions of people looking to find solutions. And somebody who really wants to provide solutions to a bunch of wayward minds are advertisers. And so we would also pursue an advertising model targeted to these queries.
Very nice. Any questions out there about Resolve? I know you weren't prepared for it, but anybody?
I mean, this is rough, just hit me with anything. I showed you a really rough prototype of where we are right now. You can feel free to tear it to pieces. We're all based on crowdsourcing the votes based on that structure. Later on, we're looking at moving in some semantic analysis and AI, but we're banking on the people and their ability to organize a small portion of the conversation so that the entire conversation is then organized.
So this is an alpha.
Yeah, it's alpha.
And what's your trajectory? When do you think you're gonna have something ready for market?
Our trajectory is to be in Brown and 5 other colleges this spring as a beta, and also a public one, which is at www.resolve.com. It's RSOLV. We'll be launching also this spring.
So you graduated Brown?
Yes, I graduated in 11 and my co-founder in 13. And we've been bootstrapping this and also looking at things like Techstars and Y Combinator.
And would you ever think to base your company out of Providence?
We really like the energy out here in San Francisco and the West Coast, and also in Manhattan.
Good luck choosing between the two.
Yeah.
We want you here. Okay, very cool. Resolve.
Thank you very much.
Edric, nice job. Nice. I like it. Okay, so let's do 60-second spots. While this is going, we'll put the tallies in the back. Hong did not receive a login or something. If you just go try to just log in, it probably just start from scratch. Yeah, I got your email. This is like multi-dimensional here. It's a little late for that. Next time. Okay, so while this is being tallied, is there anybody that wants to do the 60-second spot? If not, I don't care. This is for everybody else. No, let's move on. Let's do it. Let's say congratulations, and we have to do a better job in actually coming up with a prize for the winner. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so a couple of more announcements, and then we'll open the bar back up. We'll turn the music on. We'll hang out for a little while. It was a good night. So our next event is not a demo event, but we're having a holiday. Excuse me, it is a demo event. December 11th. Be there. Yeah. But then after that, we're having a party. It's a holiday time, so we're having a holiday party, and it's looking very likely this is going to be in conjunction with our friends at Macworld. We have a lot of great announcements going to be coming out about that. So if you want to get involved as a participant, a volunteer, or maybe even another sponsor, come talk to us. We're going to be raising the roof at a bar and having a lot of fun. And then we're looking at next year, and we're planning now. So if you have any ideas on how you want to see this come together on this stage, or maybe elsewhere, who knows, drop us a line. We're friendly. My name is Myles, as you know, MYLES at sfnewtech.com. And sure, yeah, come on up. We can do an announcement, yeah. And then we'll say goodnight.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric. I'm French, and I'm the founder of BiggerPan, a content discovery app for browsers that allows you to see content that is related to the pages you browse on. So I've been bootstrapping this, and I have 2 software developers in Paris, and we're nearly ready to launch the beta. And so I'm now looking for experienced full-stack tech people, and especially a CTO. So if you know of someone, please tell them that I'm looking for. Thank you.
Very cool. And that was here or back in France? That's here. Very nice. Work with a bunch of French guys. Yeah. Right on. You see, that was a perfect 60-second announcement. Anybody else have anything like that to say? There's a microphone with your name on it. No? You don't care? All right. So let's say goodnight. It was wonderful. It was good. Hopefully it was good for you too. And we'll see you next time. Be prepared for an email over the next day or two asking you for some more feedback. We always read the emails, and we like to consider your thoughts. It also gives you opportunity to talk a little bit more about your experience and who you thought really rocked it, and we share that information with everybody else. Thank you to our friends at Microsoft. Thank you to Liberty. Thank you to Greg. Thank you to Manuel. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to Jimmy. Thank you to the guys in the back. And thank you to you guys for showing up. We love you. We'll see you next time around.